the move count as the laps count down, seeing if he can possibly get back to the front.
And he wants to get it back up to the front. We know it. This will be an amazing drive if he's able to. Field spreading out. We only have a few bunches of cars here and there battling, so this could be a green to the end finish, and if it is, that is only going to spell good for Kyle Cisco because everybody else's tires will start to very quickly wear. As we have 6 laps to go, Tyler Catalano continues to command this race. Where will Kyle Dean try and make his move? And I think the more important question is to ask when, because he's very quickly having a mirror full of the 62 of Cisco.
Yeah, the 4's got to be very careful here because he has to get to that inside of the 64 and make it work. Oh, and the caution is out as the 7 and the 54 are involved. That's Patrick Hosier and Trevor Catalano getting into one another.
And we will be going into a green-white checkered finish now. Brian, you got the replay.
Yeah, seeing the incident here, it just looks like the 7 is slow in the corner there, maybe trying to diamond the corner. And what that is, it's really just pushing up a little bit and then kind of cutting down hard, it's what's called a double apex also. But also he might have just missed it and was trying to hook back down. So Trevor Catalano didn't expect him to be there though, thought he was going to get underneath him and just ended up being a racing deal there.
Here's another look now on board with the 7 of Patrick Hosier. And we've seen this collectively here tonight at Five Flags where some guys maybe overshoot the braking zone, have to brake late, or they just want to take that outside line. But the drivers who take the inside line just aren't expecting it. And because that inside line maybe is a slightly faster, especially if they set up their car for the inside line, they just shoot right in there and end up getting to the inside of whoever's on the outside, and they don't have any time to react.
Yeah, we'll have to see here as this progresses on how these guys do things also, because you talked about holding that bottom and people running those different lines. Well, up front they're running much different lines also, and it seems like some of these cars are better on entry and others better on exit. The 4 seems to be better in the center and on exit than the 64. That's how he's really able to get there. But on entry, he's not able to really hug it down. But that's not really a bad thing to say, because the exit and the center is really where you want to be the quickest, because if you're hurting on entry, the only real problem there is someone getting underneath you. But if you can keep a decent enough lead, then you're perfectly fine to be able to get better exits and have that chance to pull down on somebody on the exit. The problem is if you give up too much on entry, then you're not going to be on their bumper on exit, no matter how good of an exit you get.
We will be going over the scheduled distance here tonight. The scheduled distance was 60 laps. We are currently working lap 60 behind the pace car, so we will be heading to a green-white checkered finish. We have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered tonight. When they take the green flag, if there is a caution on the green flag lap, we will rack them up again and try another attempt. If they were able to make it to the white flag, the checkered flag will be the next flag to fly, and they will all race back to the start-finish line. The 62 all over the back bumper of the 64 already before they even get racing. Kyle Cisco was dominant earlier in this race and through the middle of the race. Then he came down pit road, got back in the pack, and then now has a chance at the race win. First attempt at a green-white checkered. Tyler Catalano, your points leader, is off and away in the 64. He's going to dive into one. Cisco going to go into second. He's going to need to get to the back bumper of the 64 as quickly as he can. Will he move him out of the way? He gets to the back bumper. White flag one more time around the Five Flag Speedway. The 62 to the outside, not able to make it stick. What will he do in 3 and 4? Coming to the checkered flag. He gives him a nudge. He gives him a shot. Not going to get it done. The 64, Tyler Catalano, your points leader, gets the win at Five Flags.
Yeah, and I think if we run green there to the end, I think that's Cisco's race to a win. But at that moment, the only way to really get past him was to really move him out of the way. And he tried. I just don't think he was able to give him the shot that he wanted to give him. He tried to race him clean, especially there. We saw he tried to go to the outside originally to make sure he didn't turn him. So just good racing all around from everyone there.
What a night here at Five Flags, and Tyler Catalano does what he was able to do at Oxford Plains back in week 5 and get another win in this championship. And Kyle Cisco's on the front straightaway doing burnouts. He definitely was a dominant car tonight, but ultimately not able to get it done. Your winner was the 64 of Tyler Catalano. Cisco came home in second, just a little over a tenth behind, with Kyle Dean in third, Matthew Lambert fourth, Patrick Hosier fifth, Trevor Catalano sixth, Colin Johnston seventh, Daniel Hutchins eighth, Russell Peets ninth. Jack Eli rounds out your top 10 with Ken Zeems, Tyler Cox, Ignacio Adames, Brian Osborne, Billy Kruska, Dustin Momberquette, Jody Reinhardt, Christopher Opgar rounds out your top 18, with Hunter Zyke, Jason Hand, James Gerald, and Austin Beers rounding out your entire 22-car field. We're going to take a short break here on Apex Racing TV, then come right back for the post-race show with interviews, hopefully with all of your top 3 finishers in tonight's race. So don't go anywhere. You are watching the East Coast Thunder eSports Tour Modified Series live on Apex Racing TV. A night of great racing and controversy. We are just now learning that the 64 of Tyler Catalano has been busted by our East Coast Thunder Esports Tour Modified Series officials for breaking a lane change rule. There is a rule where you cannot change lanes on the restart coming to the start-finish line, and the officials have deemed that Tyler Catalano, I believe on that last restart, did break the lane change rule. So, Kyle Cisco is now ruled the winner of this race, with Tyler Catalano being dropped back into 9th. And we'll get an exact ruling on what happened, but I think it did happen right there. He pulled up to the wall. He was clear on that outside line, but I believe that right there is where the rule was broken. We are just getting word. Yes, he was penalized. Not exactly sure if that was where it happened or if it was somewhere else, but right now we're going to assume it was there. And another part of that ruling is that Tyler Catalano is going to get 9th place points, which means with, I believe, how the points will settle out, and I don't think Tyler Catalano led the most laps tonight, I think we are going to see a possible tie in the point standings between the 64 and the 84. So a lot of developments here at the East Coast Thunder Esports Tour Modified Series. Just exactly waiting on official word that we do know he got penalized, waiting on exactly when that happened, but we do have post-race interview standing by, and we have with us our now deemed winner, Kyle Cisco in the 62. Now, Kyle, before we get to what happened at the end of that race with Tyler Catalano and the penalty, I want to talk about the beginning of this race because you were able to get past Tyler Cox in the 2, last week's winner, and go on to grab the win in this race, ultimately after a penalty. But you were so dominant in the beginning of this race that I do want to ask first, how was the beginning of that race from your perspective, being up there and being able to pass the 2? Hello, Kyle, are you with us?
Check.
All right, glad we got you now. I do want to talk about real quick at the beginning of that race. How was it for you?
We were pretty good. I think we set a pretty good pace there in the beginning. We showed we can get to the front and kind of just ride a little bit, and then we decided to pit for some tires and made our way back up to the front there.
And you were very dominant. You were able to get past Tyler Cox, who won last week. How was it being able to get past him and making that move on a driver who won last week and kept it going by leading a lot of the early part of this race?
Yeah, he kind of run me up there earlier in the race to get the lead, which was okay. And, we kind of ran him back down there a little bit. And crew chief made the call to try to run hard and get around him to set the pace. And we did just that, and we were able to get him and got the caution and got the lead. And,
Now, moving to the middle of that race, you did come down pit road for 4 fresh tires. What was the call there? Because we saw a lot of the lead lap guys, or a lot of the guys up front, just come down pit road in the middle of the race under caution. What was that strategy call?
The crew chief just didn't like the way I used the right front tire early in the race, and just didn't like the way it was falling off. Just thought we didn't going to have nothing towards the end of the race, so he wanted to get some new tires on, and figured when we come down we might as well just take all 4, and we figured we'd have the speed to get back up towards the front there at the end, which we did.
And now I want to talk about the end of that race, because you were able to get to the 64 of Tyler Catalano, and ultimately on that last restart getting busted for a lane change penalty. Are you still glad that you got the win, but also a little mad that you weren't able to pass him on the racetrack and you got the win from a penalty?
Yeah, well, it's, sometimes you just got to take them the way you can get them. It's a tough deal there for Tyler, but, I've been bitten by it before. Unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. And, I kind of just took my my second place there. I heard race control talking about it, so I kind of didn't want to, ruin nothing there, and just kind of rode home and took it when race control called it official at the end of the race. So yeah, it's a tough deal, but I guess that's how you learn from your mistakes, and maybe you can get it done next week.
Anyone else you would like to thank?
I just got to thank everyone that helps me. Bill White, Kyle White, all the boys, and you guys for doing what you do.
Thank you very much, Kyle Cisco, your winner after the penalty at the end of this race on Tyler Catalano. Want to really quickly get to your race results one more time and talk about how the points are being broken down, because Kyle Cisco will be getting winner's points and everybody else behind him will get extra points up until 9th place, where Tyler Catalano is now scored. Tyler Catalano is getting 35 race points, so he's getting 35 points from where he finished in the race, but he is also getting 5 bonus points because he led the most laps. He led 29 laps tonight. Cisco led 16, with Tyler Cox leading 18. So that means 40 total points for Tyler Catalano compared to the 37 total points from Cullen Johnston, which means how the points are now scored is that Tyler Catalano will keep your points lead. He still leads the point standings now with 403 total points, and Cullen Johnston 5 points behind. So he did not tie it up. He did, in fact, lose 3 points on Tyler Catalano, so he's sitting still in second, 5 points behind. In third is Matthew Lambert, 22 points behind. And then Trevor Catalano is now in fourth, 34 points behind. And Patrick Hosier stays in fifth, 54 points behind. So it is going to be an intense run to this championship next week here on Apex Racing TV. Double points race at the USA International Raceway, and we hope you can join us for that. Congratulations to the 62 of Kyle Cisco grabbing the win tonight here at Five Flags. And again, join us next week for the finale of the East Coast Thunder Esports Tour Modified Series live here on Apex Racing TV. For Marco Barbanera, Brian Delp, I am Joshua Lee, and we thank you for tuning in, and we're saying goodbye from the virtual Five Flags.